In fact, what the television channel,
maybe
what the media seems to
if your colleagues from Andhra Pradesh, from the Simandra region hadn't done what they'd done, the MP from the TDP, then there would have been a discussion on the grievance redressal bill or the whistleblower protection bill, which Anjali and her colleague Nikhil Dey have been fighting for along with Aruna Roy. It's because of actions like these that the good work gets superseded by this exhibitionism. I want to put that question to Dr. Singhvi. What K.T. Rama Rao is essentially saying is that if Sudesh Sharma or Syed Bashir Ahmed hadn't done what they had done, they wouldn't have been on center stage. They've become heroes. The media is to blame. The conduct of the netas is not what is wrong over here. Dr. Singhvi, do you agree with that?
With the first part, I partially agree. With the second part, I don't. I was a great votary of televising. Till about 3 years ago, I had a very interesting conversation with one of the 2 or 3 top people in the Rajya Sabha, very senior presiding officers, who said that, if you switch off the televisions, you might have far less exhibitionism. Now, this has a very sad but a real truth. So there may be some truth in it. But that cannot justify shutting off the TV. I am saying that it is not a question of SP or JNK or this regional party. Tomorrow it could be a congressman. Thank God it is not. Now, in that situation, the only answer has to be what concrete steps can we take. Now, there are resolutions and rules for the last 30 years, 40 years. Every assembly and parliament starts with a pre-starting all-party meeting.
But Dr. Singhvi, the rules of the House say that the Speaker and the Vice President are empowered. You actually don't need permission from anyone else. If the Speaker decides to throw Prasad out, throw Mr. Rajgopal out, they can. The speakers from your party, why don't you tell her to do it, Dr. Singhvi?
On the contrary, Rahul, on the contrary, what I am saying is exactly the same. The power exists for the last 50 years. But such power cannot be exercised in practice without bipartisan support, at least of the 2 or 3 major parties saying, look, if the Speaker tomorrow calls in the marshals and even 30-40 people are affected, we will back her to the hilt. Let me tell you practically, no Speaker, and I'm not talking of this, that or other, any color Speaker, nobody is going to stand up on his own and start expelling and using marshals individually every other day.
But why not? If you want to set an example, if you want to show you are different, do it, Dr. Singhvi. The people of India will back you. If Meera Kumar were to do it, she'd be a national hero. She threw these MPs out.
A political party does not use marshals.
Rahul,
you have to generate a consensus with the Speaker that she will use it.
Gaurav Bhatia wants to respond to what you're saying.
You cannot have...
Rahul,
only half a second.
Rahul, I just
one by one.
I just wanted to say one thing.
Zero tolerance policy.
Gaurav.
Zero tolerance policy.
Yeah. I think the first time the Speaker of the House or the chairperson of the Rajya Sabha accepted such unruly behavior, that is why we faulted. And it should have been nipped in the bud, which
Forget
it wasn't.
History, deal with the problems of today.
That I can think of is
you can blame history, but what is the Samajwadi Party government doing? Will you act against these 2 MLAs from the RLD?
Rahul,
will you ask your Speaker in Lucknow to act against these 2 MLAs when the Assembly convenes tomorrow? Gaurav Bhatia, don't pontificate on what others should do. Tell me what you are doing.
Yes. No, I was talking. I was talking about the issue, Rahul, but just to answer your question first, before I make my other point.
No, because don't resort to generalities. I'm trying to pin you down on specifics. I'm asking you a specific question.
No.
Your assertion has meaning only if you say that tomorrow the Speaker of the Uttar Pradesh Assembly will throw both these MLAs out, will act against them. If you don't do so, everything that you're saying is meaningless, Gaurav.
Rahul, no, the Honorable Speaker of the Assembly should act in a strong manner, in a fair manner, in an impartial manner. No person can answer the question for the Speaker. I can't answer it, at least. Rahul,
what would you like him to do? What would you like to see the Speaker do?
Constitutional positions.
And I'm sorry, you're a lawyer. You're evading that question. You're not answering it. You're not taking a position either. I want to go across at this time to Jayaprakash, Narayan, President of the Lok Satta Party.
Rahul, I just wanted to make one quick point.
No, 1 second.
Rahul,
give everyone a fair chance. Don't monopolize the debate, Gaurav. You made your point. I want to go across to Mr. Narayan. Mr. Narayan, you've heard the assertions made by different parties. We're actually seeing most of them try and give us a context to which these misdemeanors take place. Do you believe there can be any misdemeanor, any context at all to such misdemeanors which can be acceptable, or do you agree with what Anjali has said today, sir?
Rahul, the answer is self-evident. Obviously, no provocation justifies disorderly conduct in the legislative house. Obviously, there should be zero tolerance. Obviously, we should make sure that there is reasoned debate
How do we
in
make
Parliament
sure?
and state legislatures.
How do we make sure that there's zero tolerance?
but-
Everyone says so but does nothing.
No, the rules are very clear, Rahul. The problem is not that. The problem is the rules are pretty clear. We don't want to implement them because of a variety of reasons.
No, Dr.
And
Singhvi
we
says
can,
you
if
can't
somebody
implement the
really
rules
sets his
because
mind to
there's
it,
no
we can do it.
bipartisan support.
But Rahul,
do you think he's just trying to evade
Rahul, just
his responsibility, sir?
have some patience, Rahul. Just hear me out. But we must go into the root of the problem.
Sir.
Dr. Swami is right. There is a deeper cancer. While we require palliatives, they are not sufficient. First of all, politics and power have become a matter of life and death. And therefore, what you do in the legislature, how it's portrayed to the electorate or to a state or to the country, they become so incredibly important that the substance is giving way to style. And unless political parties and politicians and governments realize that power is with a purpose, it's not a matter of life or death, we have a problem. There's a second problem. The capacity to reconcile conflicting interests in a very complex and a very diverse society, where caste versus caste, region versus region, religion versus religion, all kinds of things are there, this capacity is lost. And the third thing is there's always a short-term price to pay.